Medical practices are watching a specific administrative problem rapidly escalate. Initial claim denial rates hit nearly 12%, piling up on managers' desks. That 12% represents a massive volume of unpaid work. When you look closely at the data, over 26% of those rejections stem from a single, highly specific bottleneck: registration and eligibility errors made right at the front desk. As this chart shows, the result is costly. That 65% slice dissolving into empty space represents the denied claims that are never reworked. Because practices simply don't have the time to appeal them, the bulk of that revenue is quietly written off. Relying on standard manual workflows at the front desk causes practices to bleed uncollected revenue before a claim is even officially submitted to the payer. The mechanics of a manual check explain exactly why this is happening. Running a single eligibility verification takes a staff member an average of 24 minutes. In hard dollars, that costs about $14 in labor per transaction. Now, compound that slow, expensive process with a 40% turnover rate among front office staff. Every time a verification specialist leaves, the institutional memory of navigating specific plans walks out the door. A new hire needs weeks to learn the intricacies of the electronic medical record and the various payer portals. During that long ramp-up period, mistakes multiply and denials predictably spike. Tasking a constantly rotating cast of generalist employees with enforcing highly specific, complex payer rules creates a repeating cycle of failure that manual labor cannot fix. To see exactly how this breaks down in practice, we have to look at Cigna. Cigna eligibility verification fails frequently because the underlying data architecture requires a specialized verification workflow. This flowchart maps the standard approach. Staff connect to the primary database, assuming they have the complete picture. But Cigna manages mental health through a separate, disconnected database. Checking only the medical portal misses this completely. The claim submits, but instantly comes back denied. This is a structural trap. Running dual portal verifications takes extra time. When the waiting room is full and the queue gets busy, this critical secondary check is usually the first step to be skipped. The friction extends beyond behavioral health. Cigna's Open Access Plus plans add another set of hurdles to the daily schedule. Instead of universal rules, Open Access Plus cost-sharing structures vary depending on the specific contract negotiated by the patient's employer. What applies to one patient's plan rarely applies to the next. On top of that, your staff has to identify and navigate completely different eligibility pathways if a patient presents with a legacy GWH Cigna employer plan or a Medicare Advantage Healthspring policy. Successfully navigating this maze of exceptions requires a technical data routing solution that goes far beyond the scope of a standard administrative workflow. Medical practices are increasingly bypassing it entirely by outsourcing the process. Companies like Staffingly remove this burden from the local front desk, assigning the work to dedicated teams that focus entirely on a single payer. They use a hybrid infrastructure to manage the volume. AI-driven bots run high-speed automated sweeps through the portals, while certified medical coders handle the complex carve-outs and exception cases that require human judgment. The automated system instantly detects complex structures, like a Cigna plus Oscar arrangement, and drops the verification into the correct processing lane. If a denial occurs, it loops back to the specific payer desk to update the protocol, ensuring that error never repeats. By combining strict pattern recognition with automated checks, this model drives the eligibility error rate down to below 1% across the board. The economics favor the outsourced approach. In-house generalists cost up to $84,000. Staffingly manages it for $399 weekly. To achieve this kind of reporting on your throughput and accuracy, you don't even have to migrate to a new platform. The team connects directly inside your practice's existing electronic medical record system and goes live in just 5 to 10 days. The data points toward a clear conclusion. When plan architecture gets this complicated, practices need to solve the underlying systems problem rather than simply increasing headcount. You can test this specialized approach for yourself by initiating a 14-day risk-free pilot to secure your eligibility workflow.